Hi, I'm Margie with 342 Matt. Today we're going to talk about the very unsettling situation of being hacked on social media, what you can do about it, and also how you can create a password that's almost impossible to hack. Mind you, no password is impossible to hack, but we're going to make it very difficult for them. Oh, and still easy to remember. So let's get into the hacking. Now, there are two types of hacking, generally speaking, when it comes to social media. There's a very mild version that they are trying to gain access to more and more of the people you know, or they're trying to boost something that gets more attention for them, say a product they're selling, or sometimes, sadly, porn. But they also might be trying to get your friends to like them, even though you're already friends, so it seems awkward. That's usually your first tip-off. In that situation, all you have to do is change your password and you should be fine. Now, in the more serious, more invasive hack that started around 2016, it has resurfaced again in 2021, and it's where you try to change your password and all of a sudden the email that they're supposed to send you the code to, or maybe it's your SMS code that they're doing, it's not yours. They have completely gotten in there and changed everything out. What you need to do on those is you need to go through your spam, your junk mail, and all your emails and see where that social media platform probably sent you an email. Say it's Instagram. They sent you an email saying, hey, did you really want to change your email address? If you did, ignore this email. If you didn't, click here. That's the email you need to find. You need to click that and let them know so you can reverse it all. And then of course there's also, if you have a friend that can report your account, that person's posing it, that would help too. But mainly go and find that email. Now, what could be better than having to sort through all that and all the frustration you're going through right now is simply to create a password that's not hackable, or is easy to hack, I should say. Well, let's start by picking a sentence, or maybe a song lyric. Lyrics are pretty easy to remember, so I like those. How about, Jumpin' Jack Flash, it's a gas, gas, gas. If you're not a Rolling Stones fan, that means nothing to you. But if you're a fan, this is a good password. Mind you, don't use it, because when I do these classes and I tutor privately, this is the example I go with every time. So odds are, if I'm a hacker, see this once and you're in. So, but you've got your own song lyric going in your head, or maybe it's a sentence, whatever you want. Now you're going to take the first initial from each of those words. So this actual song lyric, you can keep a book of passwords, because remember, the hacker is getting into your computer, not into your house. So you can write it down in a notebook that you keep by your nightstand, or you can write it on your walls if you want. They're not getting into your house, so it's safe there. And besides, it's just a song lyric, right? So we're taking the first initial from each of those, and now it's all uppercase. Now for passwords, they'd prefer that you didn't use all uppercase. They want some upper, some lower. You can do this any way you want to. You can say, every time I change my password, I'm always making the first 4 letters uppercase, the rest are lowercase, or maybe vice versa. Or maybe you could do it in sentence case, and I don't know why, but I'm assuming Mr. Flash is his name, so he's Jack Flash. So now we've got capital J, J, F, and then lowercase IAGGGG. Now you also need to add a number. Easiest thing you can do is switch out one of the letters for a number. It could be any one you want. You could look at the J's and think to yourself, those look like upside down 7s. Every time I have a J, I'll make it a 7. Or maybe you just want to always do the third letter in is always going to be 4. Or in my case, I'm going with the I, because I try to always change up vowels. Then I'm going to go, what's above the I? It's that little 8. So I'm going to go ahead and type that instead of the I. In addition to adding a number and having uppercase and lowercase, they also recommend that you add a symbol. Now, you could go with the most common one, which is an exclamation point, but that's basically saying to the hackers, here, I'll give you one of the security measures for free. So let's switch that out. Now, I will caution though, sometimes because it works into the language of computer programming, sometimes some of those symbols aren't accepted. and they'll have it in the little fine print. So that's usually why, though, I avoid the @ sign, because obviously that's so useful in email accounts. So instead, I'm just going at random. I'm going to pick the little code above the 6. Now that symbol doesn't have to be at the end. You could make it the first one if you wanted. And again, it can be written down in your notebook. Where you place it is all up to you. Now this is what our password looks like. We're almost done. It's looking pretty good here. But for extra security, I'm not going to use this same password on every one of my social media platforms or my email or my bank accounts, especially not, never, never, never have your bank account be the same. But there are little ways that you can tweak it just a little bit further. You can add whatever it's used for on the tail end of it. And how you add it is your choice too. So for instance, if it was for your Twitter account, I wrote Twitter, but I could have just done TW, or in the case of the EM, for email. You can add little extra things like that to make them each individual. But like I said, for your bank account, I would make that one completely different. Now, how often should you change these? Oh yeah, you need to change these passwords too, even though they are super hard to hack. When I worked for a corporation where it was an international corporation, and yes, I was dealing in their social media, we had to change our passwords every 90 days. It was really annoying until I started doing the song lyric thing and started using a notebook to write it down. You could also take a picture of it on your phone, just the song lyric and the little codes that are memory triggers, and that's all you need. You'll be fine. How often should you do it? Well, like I said, 90 days would be ideal. That may seem like a bit much, so what if you did it every time you went to get your hair done? That would be easy enough to remember. Unless, of course, you're like myself. If you've seen my videos, you know that's not very often. Need to change it more often. So for me, I change my email passwords and social media passwords every time I change my tube of toothpaste. So that's why I needed a whole notebook to keep track of these. So there you go. Hopefully that will help keep you safe and secure, and hopefully that you won't ever have to deal with any of the hacking issues. If we can be of more help, we're 342-MAD. We are a marketing and design firm that specializes in the 342 zip code of Sarasota. We are here to help your business grow. You can also get more of these how-to videos on our website. Check us out at 342mad.com. And yes, you can also find us on social media.